All right, here we are on April 3rd, late at night again. I just got done with a 14-hour workday, so this is not as timely as I would have liked, but here we go on the, April 3rd Q post. There's quite a few of them here. And Q posted this picture that is behind me and up here about if Satanists took over the Vatican, would you notice? And we'll kind of get into the little details of how scary the Pope and what the Vatican has done lately. And really, this whole thing's about we're under attack. We're at war, right? It's Cueanon. So I'm going to try to speak up a little bit more here because people are talking about my volume. When I talk late at night, I'm trying to keep the family, not bother the family. So I'm going to close the door here and talk a lot louder. So here we go. We're going to dig into this right now. If we look at the Q post, it's quite crazy. Here we are on, let's see, April 2nd. We did these posts. We talked about Follow Bolton, was the name of my last video, right? Really digging into him cleaning the house and setting the stage for the mass arrests that are eventually going to happen, right? Here's the first one we got. I think it was right here, 996. So I'm going to blow this up a little bit so you can see this in a little bit more detail. Basically talks about future proves past, several days, one day. Rod Rodenstein, military border, keep watching the news. April, Moab Q. Now, if you look at this, this was again done on April 3rd, just earlier tonight. Future proves past, several today. So basically saying several pieces of news that are prove the past based on what was out today. And so in one day, saying there's several of things that happened. And there's obviously some coding going on here with one day A. To figure out exactly what that is. I worked all day, so I haven't had a chance to really do a lot of investigation, except for my favorite places at Vote, where a lot of the Calm Before the Storm people moved, and also to Reddit, where I look at the Donald as well as the Great Awakening. So I'll post some of those sites below so you guys will see where I kind of get my information real quickly when I don't have time to go research a lot myself. But again, this is talking about Rod Rodenstein. And we saw some news on that today. We saw some news on the military today. We saw some news on the border today. And then also, obviously, he's talking about the mother of all bombs here. He goes on to say, coincidence, another MSM narrative changes upon release of damaging news. And I think this is talking about the YouTube shooting. You probably heard about that. So obviously, I think what Q's alluding to is that there was actually a false flag here. People are waking up. Trace the background of the shooter. I haven't had a chance to do that yet. It's a woman that actually killed herself, etc. So I'm sure you guys can tell me. Hey, Kimberly, nice to see you. Yeah, and then focus on the father. It's an exciting post tonight. Kimberly says, focus on father, 20 years. So if you start digging into some of the news that we saw today, let's dig into that. Oh, you know what? I want to back up just a second to kind of go back to last time. Remember when Q said tippy top, and I put a video in there showing where that tippy top was, etc. That was actually a request, according to, I think this is the Vote, the Vote, VOAT. .co, I think it is where you can go see. I'll put a link in there. But current Q is still in the White House. Proof to those who yet plausibly deny to those who destroy. Right. So basically, if you look at this, I'm gonna blow it up a little bit. There was an anonymous that said on 130, maybe Q can work in the phrase tip top in the SOTU at the shout out to the board. So again. Can he work in the phrase tip top? This was done on 130, right? When he's talking about tip top, right here, and then you see the tippy top shape thing that now you have anonymous talking about on 4.3 now, and then you basically say it was requested. Did you listen today? So Q's basically saying it was requested for the tippy top shape, right? And tippy top shape, right? And it was requested, did you hear it today? And basically just pointing through all the requests. And basically, if you go listen to it, he used that term as the anons requested, right? So pretty interesting thing. This is an anon amazing or artist or what? Remembering something to obscure to brand number 25 and what an Easter egg. So basically this was just more evidence that Q was in the White House, right? So that was pretty cool. Looks like killer was Muslim. I say father equals law enforcement. So interesting to see what her background was when we start digging into that. But obviously we're starting to look at these are most likely false flags by the deep state to divert us from the Rod Rosenstein news and etc. Right? Now, another thing about that tippy top comment, We have the comment of follow the white rabbit. Well, here he is with the white rabbit, just purposely taking a lot of pictures. So don't know if that's connected, but it could be another one of the just shout outs to us who are following Q and waking people up. And I know Trump is appreciative of that. I really believe he is. Now, if you look at Sarah A. Carter, one of my favorite sites I always go look at, she had another big article today. Bombshell: secret texts show FBI DOJ may have rushed anti-Trump FISA warrant. So I'm not going to dig into this too much, but you can go and look at this. Just hit the read more here on Sarah Carter, and you can actually look. I'll just look at some of the things. Again, SarahACarter.com. I'll put the link in below as well. At best, it's strange coincidence, worth investigating further, but it's likely much more. So basically, this goes into some more texting between Stroke and Page, and a lot more collusion, and obviously I'm getting aggravated with Loffman, and just a lot of discussion here, clearly showing more corruption by the DOJ, FBI, etc. So that was again, bombshell secret text show FBI, DOJ may have rushed anti-Trump FISA warrant. This is probably one of the biggest things I think that he's talking about with the Rosenstein. Look at this. And Rosenstein and Mueller colluded to break the law. Attorney Greg Jarrett calls on unethical Mueller to resign after Rosenstein memo surfaces. Again, this is today on the 3rd. I didn't get a chance to look at Hannity today. I'm sure Garrett talked out on it as well as Carter. Would have been a little bit interesting. I'll go try to watch that tomorrow once I catch up with my life here. I got a 2-day seminar, so it's going to be pretty busy for me until Thursday. An August 2007 memo from Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein to Special Counsel Mueller surfaced late Monday evening in a court filing. Mueller used the memo to defend his scope of the investigation against the recent motion Manor filed to dismiss his case. So what's interesting about this, I read somewhere else that it actually Rosenstein wrote it after he broke in to Montford's place. Remember, he broke it down at 3 a.m. and went and confiscated all this stuff, which was beyond the scope of his engagement. Then Rosenstein afterwards went and put a justification for that, acting as if he was like allowing it, he did it beforehand. So a lot of we're going to be finding out more and more corruption of Rod Rosenstein, as well as looks like Mueller. So maybe he's not the White hat that I thought he was. I think he is controlled opposition being used as a big distraction. I think maybe not a white hat, but somebody that's controlled because they have so much stuff on them. So here we are. Jan Zimmerman, great work. This is where to send newbies. You are clear and concise. Thank you. We will prevail. Thank you, Ty. Thank you, Janet. But here we go. Let's go back to Q. Again, you can go here, Cueanon.pub, Cuanon.pub. It's easy to do. And you can actually go to the upper left and actually search on things. A very great site to go. So now I'm going to go to the next post here was on April 3rd. This was, all it says is P. Pope. That was anonymous said that, ? So I think he's talking about a previous post where there's a P. And then basically here's Q with the same drip code, right? Basically saying Pope, confirming yes, P is Pope in some of his previous post. And they basically saying the Pope will have a terrible May, which is interesting. Unfortunately, it's April, so that means a whole month and a half away, though. But I think this is going to be a huge April and May. I think in the summer is when all the rest. If you ask me, my personal opinion, I think the summer is when the rests are going to happen. I know that's not as early as people want them. I know there's some arrests that he's alluding to is going to happen in April, but as far as the big people we really want behind bars, I think it's going to take a while, right? Now, here's this. It says the Pope will have terrible May. Those who backed him will be pushed into the light. So basically, we know that this Pope is the worst in history by far, and that the people who pushed him probably got him into power will be pushed into the light. There's a lot of other stuff I have predictions about here, but I'm gonna hold them to myself now a little bit till I do a little bit more research. But dark to light, truth Q. So the evilness of this current Pope is going to be showing here in May. It looks like, because he's going to have a terrible May, is what we're saying. What Q's saying here. Now here's something else. I want to be careful of this because there's a lot of Zionist haters, and we all hate the Rothschild Zionists, right? But then Zionists are often take to cover all of Israel, and that's just not the case. The Bible's really clear that those who bless Israel will be blessed, and I believe that there's only evil in certain parts of Israel. But this is a kind of a cartoon that says, why do they persecute me so? I think it's really talking about the Rothschilds here. And if you go back to history, all the blood of Hungarians, Polish, Russians, that the Rothschilds have caused, especially when you look at all the wars they funded on both sides. And then, so that was done by an anonymous person, not by Q. And here's another anonymous person saying, Pope will have a terrible May. Pope will have a different May. And holy crap, right? Tell us, Q, how many are connected to Roths. So basically this Cueanon is asking, this is a non-person, is asking how many of these people that you're going to expose around the Pope are connected to the Roths. And he answers this by saying, the chair serves the master. Who is the master? P equals C, Q. Basically saying, the chair serves the master. And so who is the master? Probably they're talking about the Rothschilds, because he meant just right here. One of the three accesses of evil that we talked about, the access of the Rothschilds that control the central banks, right? 98% of central banks. And then you had the House of Sod, and you have Soros that's trying to politically take us down through chaos, Solinsky techniques, etc. Volume's still not very loud. Okay, I'll try to continue to speak a little bit louder here. So here, and see if I can turn this up and see if that helps at all. Tell me if that helped or not. So anyway, here we go. We got the chair serves the master. Who is the master? P equals C. That's the Pope equals the chair. So it's basically saying the Pope is serving the Rothschilds, is what I believe that is interpreted as. Let me know if you think it's a different interpretation there, but that's the way I read that. 995 says future periods of past, several today. Oh, I'm sorry, this is the first post. RR, military, border, keep watch, and then 996 here was a repeat of that with more detail. So that was the first one, second, third, fourth. That's the way that went. So we already kind of really covered all that content. Here's some more that came in. Now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 10 more. So I'm going to really move quickly on here because there's a lot of posts here. Right now he takes that same post we just read about the chair, and the Pope is a chair that's serving the Rothschilds. And he says, now, why is Epstein spending $29 million to bury tunnels underneath its temple in Epstein Island? Those of you who know about Epstein Island, well, that's the picture of it right here. I'm going to blow this up a little bit as we go into this. But basically, we know that there's some type of evil temple there where they do all kinds of sacrifices and religious services that are most likely Luciferian, and it had all kinds of tunnels underneath. And basically, he's spending $29 million to try to cover up the evidence. Problem, Q says, phones were allowed in. These people are stupid. So basically, they've listened to them about their plans to try to cover up all the tunnels, right? To try to cover up all their criminality. Well, it's not going to work. They already know about it. So that's what I think what he's telling us there here. So if I go to post number 1,000, we got 1,000 posts since October 28th of last year. 1,000 posts from Q giving us crumbs, right? Here's the same post that was right here, and he basically says HQ. So I'm not sure. I haven't seen H by itself. Could it be something to do with Hillary? I don't know. But you let me know what you think H might be. I'm going to read a couple of the comments here now. Maybe the rest of the ceiling is going to fall down. Here's Nathan saying, thank you for being on top of the Q post, brother. I follow several of the Q following channels. You're the first one of the shoot. Thanks again. No problem. But I appreciate it. Love doing this, obviously. Talking about Nazem Agami is the name of the killer on YouTube. Possible her father. We should look into. Yes, exactly right. Very informative. Thank you, Barb. Also, follow Lori Coley. She's a Christian journalist on YouTube. We'll look at that. I don't think I've seen her yet. Pedophiles, Epstein Island. Yeah, and so there's tons of pedophilia going on Epstein Island. That's, I think Bill Clinton, even Hillary Clinton took a lot of trips there. A lot of wealthy people took trips there. Most likely it had to do with underage and pedophilia type activity, right? And child trafficking as well. And then this is a picture of Epstein Island, I believe. And if you look at here, where do the roads lead? Each prince is associated with the cardinal direction, north, south, east, and west. And I think the north, south, east, and west has some religious significance. And he's talking about cardinal direction here, and where actually there was actually sacrifices, which is extremely sad, guys, and the collections of some sort, and then they have classified on the other 2 tunnels. So what those 4 tunnels, these tunnels that lend in 4 different directions, and they're talking about some code about table 29. I'd love to do some research. Have not had a chance to do this. They have a Hillary H. I wonder if this H had to do with what he's talking about here when he's talking about trying to bury everything. And H is, I don't know, is that one of the tunnels or one of the rooms it looks like here. D room H, D room R, D room C. This spells HRC. So interesting to see that has something to do with Hillary Rodham Clinton. Pure evil, conspiracy. So crazy stuff. Incorrect. You're under attack. Q 2.0 is false. Now you're wrong. Sorry, Hand of Flax. I'm going to block you if you keep on talking. Completely wrong. I tell you what. The point is that this Q is correct, and we've just got confirmation with the tippy top deal there earlier today. So all that information is misinformation, and that's going on right now about Q not being correct, and I'll take on the debate on that with anybody right now. So if you go into these next ones, that's 1001. This is an amazing one. I've seen this, guys. If you go on YouTube and you just search Vatican and the snake, I mean, it's crazy. But if you look at this picture, and this is now Q's posted this picture now, I believe, and it says if Satanists took over the Vatican, would you notice? And here's a picture of a snake, obviously with eyes and the fangs and the tongue. If you're at the Vatican sitting down, you literally can see the scales and the eyes and the fangs and the tongue. It's designed to look like a snake. That's sick stuff. That's really sick stuff is what we're seeing here. And if you go back to the post and see what he's saying about it, and I'm going to make sure if that was Annan or it was him. Yeah, it says, if Satanists took over the Vatican, that was done by this was posted by Anon. It was not posted by Q, but he responded to it, which usually means that he's advocating it. And this is what he says. Symbolism will be their downfall. He said that before. Money, power, influence. The bite that has no cure is the NSA. And I think that means that we've turned the NSA tools against the elite, against this cabal, against the Illuminati, against the deep state, whatever you want to call them. And the bite that has no cure is the fact that the NSA is all over them now. So we've turned the tools of the NSA against the deep state with the military intelligence and the presidential administration and the military itself to take down this cabal, which is all going to happen, I believe, this summer. So we'll see. But it should be an exciting April. They talk about April showers here in a second. And in May, it's obviously not going to be a good time for the Pope, as a lot of his evil gets exposed. And that's what I love about this. We're getting a lot of exposed things here. Here we go on post number 1006 now. No, I'm going too fast. Here we go. 1003. Here we are. Sec test Q. So he's just testing his trip code, etc., making sure he's got good connectivity again. I think this is more of that. This might be some types of activated D private. So something's happening here with the way they're communicating and making sure they're in connection with the board is what my guess is. You guys let me know if something there. Yeah, my microphone volume, I'm going to have to kind of figure that out, guys. I'm going to go play with my settings. Apologize that the microphone volume is not good. I'm trying to talk a little bit louder this time. I'll go test it later and make sure the next time I go, the microphone volume is better. That's 1004. Here we go in 1005. We are under attack. And basically, this is a YouTube video basically showing the military and basically saying war, no deals. So this is what I talked about this being, part of this video name. We are under attack, war, that Cueanon says, right? We're under attack, war. And I think I had that back on my screen here as well. But the whole key here is that the military is active and ready to roll on this stuff, right? And so to take down, criminals like that. And so it's even it's not even going to be just United States, obviously. The military tribunals are going to be, I believe, cross-continental and going to be exciting when this happens. 1006, here we go. We are under attack, the same post, but then he goes on. He talks about the UK. Again, international type stuff. Rogue failure, POTUS decline, prepared at all cost, count your beats. right? So here's, it looks like this was Q posting this, referring to his old post right here. And so I think they get into more details of this, but basically they're talking about a rogue failure at bringing the POTUS down through Stormy Daniels, through all kinds of techniques to try to bring him in. And now he's at 50% rating, according to Rasmussen. He was at 50%, higher than what Obama was at the same time in his presidency. So let's see. It says, I rebuke U.S. attacks is Jesus' mighty name. I'm not sure what that means, but people are talking over here. So I'm trying to go Marines, go Special Forces, pray for the troops. I got you there, Brian, for sure. Weiner files marked life insurance are key. May answer all the Epstein questions. Yeah, that'll be that life insurance thing on Anthony Weiner's laptop could be a real key to all this. I agree exactly. So if you come back here and you look at 2004 now, again, we reviewed that. I'm sorry, we just did 1006, and now we go to 1007. Now this is the last one for today. I'm gonna quickly read just to see, because he's been posting a whole heck of a lot. See if he got something even later. But then it just goes into bunker force blue plus showers. So this is talking about this is the plus being George Soros. The plus from before, we know that the plus was the Rothschilds, and the plus being the House of Saud, I believe. I may have got that. No, House of Saud was plus. And so they've gone, the strings are cut. They arrested these guys. They cut the gun running, all the puppet strings of the money going into Hillary and everybody else is the plus. The plus would be the Rothschilds, and the plus would be the Soros. April shower. So obviously something's going to happen to all parts of the Illuminati. And I think they talked a lot about the forest being a property of the Rothschilds. So I'm not sure what the bunker in blue are. I'm sure that Jerome Corsi and some of the great decoders on 8chan are going to let us know a lot more details here over the next few days. Here I'm going to go through a couple other pieces of articles. I showed you the Rosenstein things. Here's another thing. President Trump, border security will be needed to include in NAFTA. So basically, President Trump is protecting America by sending troops to our border. I saw another article talking about how, because he's doing that and the military has funding, it's another way of just making sure that the wall gets funded. So this whole thing that I think the deep state have with the Colombia cartel coming toward the United States to try to test Trump and make him look bad is actually going to backfire on them, because we're going to have the military down there. It's just going to help us build the wall. So kind of silly what they did. But again, the 4D chess player versus the checkers players, right? As we talked about a lot. And so Trump wins. This is some new input that came today as well. On April 3rd, Trump wins. Mexico to disband the illegal immigrant caravans. 400 participants already moved, but organizers vowed to march on. So basically, this huge caravan of people that were just going to walk through the border illegally, not only is the military there, we're now getting Mexico's help to disband that. So here's a little bit more news on, this is the video that you can play that Trump linked to, about a 3-minute and 6-minute about the U.S. military. Then here is some interesting news from Wyoming about they're actually starting to recognize gold and silver as money. So a lot of movement back toward the gold standard that we're seeing here lately, based upon also what I showed you a couple videos ago about literally a House resolution or some type of initial bill that was put forth saying the same thing for the U.S. dollar to be backed by gold. Be interesting to see if that happens. I bought a bunch of gold, by the way. Not financial advice at all, because it's a very long shot. Most people tell me it's impossible for it to become a gold standard again where we are. I disagree, but again, not financial advice. Here's this. Mueller reportedly told Trump's lawyers the president is not a criminal target at this point. This came out today as well. And so he said he says he's a subject, but he's not he's not a criminal target. So again, just more good news for Trump here. And I think I have a couple other things we'll show you. Here is just kind of something funny. I think this was either on Reddit. This was on Reddit, where I go to a couple of boards. I think this is the Donald board. If you look at the subreddits over here, I usually spend most time on the Great Awakening or the Donald. And here's something when gunmen turn out to be a woman, like the woman killer at or the woman shooter at the YouTube headquarters, that's gonna, you can't say gun person, a gunman. It's got to be a gun person, right? Just kind of a joke on that political correctness that's going on in our country. And the last thing, just to let you know, if you just go Vatican snake building, all kinds of videos showing not only how creepy this snake-oriented Vatican is, but even like Jesus Christ, not on a cross, but no, with the head being blown open like a nuclear attack happening. There's just a lot of really gross things going on in the Vatican. Miller may have flipped. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think Miller is controlled opposition, where you go to do distraction. You're not going to find anything. If you find something that will, if you look at the results, DOJ corruption, FBI corruption, ever since he's been in there looking. So I think Mueller's finding things, giving it over to the IG as well as this new prosecutor. And so I think he is helping Trump, but I think he's controlled opposition. He's still viciously trying to attack and show and be the big distraction. That's what I believe. I could be wrong, right? We'll find out. So said Jonathan Keck has a great video on the Vatican, says Brian. So good stuff, guys. Deborah Wanger, either 3 is unbelievable to me. I'm not talking about it. But anyway, hey, the Lord is moving here. That's what I do know, guys. And you saw some of my videos on some of the prophecies. I'll do some more on that later. We'll take some of the Q post and what he's predicting, show how the prophecies are predicting it as well. I really believe that Trump is anointed and is being used by God almost like as a modern-day Cyrus to actually take down this deep state. And it's going to be exciting to watch. It's going to be exciting in April. We'll watch for the April showers. We just had March Madness, which showed North Korea as the major thing, and all kinds of corruption shown up by the DOJ and FBI. And then later, we even found out that we started to go into the State Department. Now we're going to start finding out about the leaks of Clapper and all these guys. We're finding out more of these page and stroke text messages are coming out, even showing more corruption. Now we're seeing Rod Rosenstein being corrupt as well, and that's coming out. We're going to now be seeing in May the Pope stuff's coming out. So a lot to come. Keep on following here. Hey, do me a favor and share this and like it, so that we can get the word out to more people. Right? That's my heart, as you know, is as a past Democrat, somebody who loves the Lord now. I want people to love each other, come together, right, left. I don't care what your race or creed or color or orientation or anything is. We need to come together as patriots in America to basically take down the deep state. And that patriots could be worldwide, right? To break down all these elites in all these countries that are actually corrupt criminals in our governments. Let's take them out. Let's team together to take them out, right? Where we go one, we go all. God bless you all. Talk to you later.